Okay, morning everybody. Thanks a lot for making time this morning to join us for this webinar. Um, this webinar is aimed at just sharing with you the content to date for the business builder and also just tweaking a little bit on the positioning. The objective of this material is both for when you're sitting one-on-one with the client, as well as a presentation to be an equivalent for the Freedom Workshop. So the aim would be to invite customers to take the survey, complete the survey, and then join the workshop. And as you go through each one of these slides, we'll also be referring back to primarily the dashboard of the business builder. So the content here is just aimed at positioning this the business builder a little bit better and getting a little bit more crispier on each one of the modules and each one of the central concepts for each one of the modules. As you are well aware, there are a lot of content and subtools for each of the modules, which becomes a little bit overwhelming, but since we've worked through all that content, now it's just a high level positioning so that we can be crystal clear on each one of the 10 building blocks within the business builder and how that's positioned. I'll save some time for us to discuss and review afterwards. I just want to see, there should be a presentation that can be stretched to, I think, 45 minutes. I like to keep my presentations 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how much engagement you get from your customers. I also like to welcome Paul. We gate crashed Paul's webinar last week. I thought it's only but fair if we would invite Paul to share, to attend one of our webinars. But we'll get to have some introductions and share just after we've gone through the major slides. Just want to make sure everybody can see the screen and can hear me. I just want to go into present mode. I just want to make sure if everybody can see the screen.
I can see, Steve. Morning.
Okay, morning. Thank you. Okay, so cracking the business code. I think this is a concept, or this is an idea that's been driving me for years. What is the business code? What is it that leads to success? What is it that makes certain businesses stand out from other businesses? And for years, I've been looking for what is the shortcut to business. And I think it has become more and more crucial as we are in these times that we are today, where we're facing a lot of external business crises. And I think for ourselves as advisors, what is it that we advise our clients on? What is it that we practice ourselves? What can we define as the business code? And what is it that leads to that business success? This is a very frightening statement, and I think one that sums up what is going on, I think more so now than ever before. Over the last 50 years, the average lifespan of companies shrunk from 60 to 18 years. Now, we deal a lot with saying the percentage failure rate of businesses, but I think we need to really look at that number and just see, I mean, the shrink down from 60 to 18 years on average. That means the best, the biggest, and the more successful businesses are no longer those businesses that last for centuries. It's the ones that actually now used to last that long are battling themselves to get past specific milestones. And when we're talking about specific business milestones, what would those be in the year span? We know that businesses in year one, what they're looking for is to establish themselves. It's just to find that right formula. So that means what is it that their product and service is going to be addressed. Then we know that in stage two that the businesses go into survival mode. And survival mode from existence is basically trying to break through year on year Now, we know that the statistics say that the failure rate of businesses are that only 50% of those businesses will survive the first 5 years. That's 50%. That's a dramatic drop. You can see year 1, year 2, we don't really see the impact of that failure. But as we get to 3, 4, and 5 years, year 5 could be one of the toughest for businesses because they're starting to deal with the complexity. They're starting to deal with more customers. They're starting to deal with a whole lot of more issues within business than they did when it was just merely finding a customer and growing your revenue. This becomes more about finding and keeping that customer and more about how to survive against your competitors. Now we can see this drops down to 35% over at the 10-year stage. So what does it mean? It means that 50% of businesses will fail by year 5. Now that is a scary statistic. That means that business owners should be looking at what they're doing and figuring out which one and what of those activities will actually contribute to lasting success. I mean, a failure rate of 65% by year 10, that is a scary statistic. That means of the businesses and of the people that dialed in now, half of us won't be around for 5 years. And as business doctors, we ourselves have crossed that 5-year mark. That means we're now looking at the 65% that won't make it within the 10 years. So it becomes critical for us to know exactly what it is that we should be focusing on within business. Now, I've presented the business builder and the 10 building blocks before, and I've heard comments like, okay, that's nothing new. But there is something hidden within these statistics. There's a code that's hidden within this that can help us drive that. If we go a little bit more further down into that, we're looking at now what is our core purpose and mission. And that is to help that 50% succeed by providing them a blueprint for success. So what is that blueprint for success? How out of the myriad of business concepts can we say, if you do the following, you will get the following success rate? And how do we help our clients and how do we help clients focus specifically on what's more important in achieving long-term sustainability? So that is our mission with Business Builder. And helping that 50% succeed means we need to get a little bit more clearer on the reasons that business fail, just to make sure that we are well aligned. So I've included some of the stats, some of the more recent ones that you can find, the top 20 reasons startups would fail. We can see there's no market, ran out of cash, not the right team, they got out competed, pricing and cost issues, poor product, business model. And you know, from my point of view, I would normally put business model at the top. Let's look at slightly more mature businesses. This is due to incompetence, 46%. That means that they're emotional about their pricing, no knowledge about pricing, lack of planning, no knowledge about financing. 30% due to poor customer credit policies, expanded too rapidly, borrowed too much money. So overall 30% failure due to lack of managerial experience. 11% due to lack of experience in the industry. So that means inventory or industry specific, no knowledge of the suppliers within that industry, or wasted advertising budget. So that we go from startups to the more mature, looking for what is that thread that's running through each one of these. So if we look at the following 10 reasons why business failed to grow. Look at that. Number 1, no business plan, lack of strong leadership, poor cash flow management, inefficient operations, sloppy record keeping, outdated technology, Why do established businesses fail? Financial reasons, poor management of cash flow, inadequate or inappropriate financing. Non-financial reasons, lack of management control and significant external shock. And I couldn't think of much of any more significant external shock than the shock that we are going through at the moment. So with all of this that we have, all of this information, what is the secret? Where does the business code sit? Where does the blueprint or the plan lie for making a business more successful? Is it helping them determine what their market looks like? Is it helping them establish where their competitors are or focusing on the right team? Is it better product management? Is it defining their business model, helping them with marketing? Is it the fact that they lose focus or they're ignoring customers and they're poor marketing? Is it the fact that they have a poor business plan? Could it be inefficient operations? So all of these factors, unhappy employees, we can see have an impact. So what do we focus on? What is the business code? How do we crack the business code that will ensure success? And what do we look at? So for us, we've summarized this into one set of KPIs and 10 building blocks. So the Business Builder framework is designed to accurately determine at what stage your business is at present, while at the same time highlighting critical areas that you need to focus on to ensure your business grows and succeeds. The Business Builder uses an algorithm developed by incorporating the lessons and insight gains from working with thousands of business owners over the last 14 years. By applying the framework, you'll be able to drastically increase your chance of building a sustainable business in the short time. So what are these 10 business building blocks aimed at stabilizing and growing your business? You can see at the core of this sits your overall score. So for people that have printed their dashboards, or you would at this stage encourage your customers to look at their overall score and see that that is a representation of their business's overall business performance and also an indication of their success percentage. Now, 44% is not a very good success rate, especially not with businesses trying to go through this time. So let's look at what those are individually. Number one is the central system. That means the central nervous system for the business. We believe that you need a set of statistics or KPIs that represents everything in the business that constitutes the plan over the next 3 to 5 years. So what are those central indicators that we need, and how do we plan for the business to succeed over 2, 3, 4, and 5 years? So we need an accurate sort of central system to help guide and govern us on how we run the business. It's number one. Number two, financial indicators. We need to be absolutely clear on the financial indicators that will help us achieve sustainability. Now, there's two things that's happened now. You can see there's an arrow that has just circled the entire, and that is a clue, your first clue to what that business code and what that success code is. It is the interlinkages between the central system and the financial indicators. How do you take your 2 to 5 year plan, and how does that represent through the budget and the financial governance and the ways that you run your business? Number three, market profile. We have to look specifically at the market that you target. How do we replicate the success that you have? The current performance that keeps you in existence, how do we take that and make that into a scalable market profile that can drive your business forward? So central system, how does it feed into your financial indicators? How do we align that with the right market? And at the same time with that market, how do we form a successful strategy that helps us compete? Number 4, lead generation. No customer, no business can survive without sufficient leads coming into the business. So when it comes to lead, it looks at our overall marketing, and that marketing on how the company positions itself from its brand and how does it utilize everything within the company to both push and pull lead generation in order to make sales a lot easier. So lead generation will require a very specific market profile that we know, and then turn that into a successful lead generation machine. What is the sales code? How do we take that market insight, those marketing leads, and how do we close business specifically in our industry and our businesses? It's vital that we understand the numbers that we need to achieve within the sales cycle. Innovation, from dealing with our customers and our market, looking at the trends within the market, how do we ultimately decide or see what innovation do we need in the business, and how do we take that innovation from idea to an actual revenue generating platform? Customer value. We have to make sure that we look at all the elements within customer value, creating and retaining customers. That means figuring out what their lifetime value is and ensuring that we do not lose customers at the rate that is more than what we actually attain or attract those customers. Execution capabilities. Where does our execution capability sit in executing on the plan that's illustrated within our central system? How do we manage for financial indicators? How do we do product development? How do we do sales drive and customer support? Do we have the execution capabilities to execute on that plan? Leadership principles. Our company is sufficiently and getting more and more complicated. How do we lead our employees and our business through to lead to a more sustainable business? And ultimately, how do we provide governance in a framework that provides shareholders with the knowledge that everything that we do is within the ethical guidelines and within the structure of a viable business? And what are those governance infrastructure that we need to set up? So that is what we believe as being the business code to success, and what we need to assist our customers with understanding. So with all of these complexities that we are faced with, it's easy then to, from this one page, looking at this as our central nervous system, to actually drill down into each one of the separate indicators and see how we can assist our customers. Let's look at one. And I'll just quickly scan through these so that we can come back to these and maybe discuss them on one-to-one. Once I've painted the actual picture on how we see them put together and fit together. So the central system, so most organizations only realize 6% of their strategies due to failure of execution. The following crucial aspects of target setting and performance management tracking is vital. You must have a 2 to 5 year strategic plan, and it must pertain to specific rules which says keep it simple, debate the assumptions with your employees and with others within the business, use a framework to build and strategize, allocate resources to your strategy to make it real, identify what the priorities are within that, and rigorously execute while performing and monitoring performance. So if you look at your specific scores, that would look at your business planning score. What does that indicator say about your capability to deliver this plan? Is this an area where your business or your customer's business needs more focus? Have a strategy with scorecard tracking execution is vital. Number 2, financial indicators. As the owner or manager of a business, of course, you're very busy, but it pays to step back and plan your financial future. Take the time to forecast, plan, and budget. What is your financial management system? Do you analyze your profit and loss and your balance sheets and your cash flow statements? Do you analyze all expenses and ensure that they link to profit and profit generating activities? Do you look at product profitability? Or are there products within your products that are running at a loss, that are drawing down or lessening your ability to maintain overall margins? Do you have a budget that specifically focuses not on just the 2 to 5 years, but what's happening within the next 12 months? And do you have the monthly meetings to ensure that we review these plans and sub-budgets? So that's financial indicators. Looking at your financial score, we need to get those scores obviously within the green. And looking at the scores, that means we need to just be able to get our scores from where it is to 10, preferably above 8. Number 2, sticking still with financial indicators, we've incorporated 2 very important indicators within the Business Builder system. The Business Builder system now analyzes your return on equity. What is the return on equity? It's a profit margins multiplied by your asset turnover multiplied by your equity multiplier. And it's simple figures that are put in that will be able to tell you what is your return on equity. And it looks at operating efficiency, looking at what is your profit margin, asset use efficiency, which is measured by a total asset turnover, and financial leverage, which is measured by the equity multiplier. So again, ROE calculated by the system, and one of the key financial indicators that we look, combined with the valuation. Valuation, looking at your overall score. Now again, if you look at your main indicator, your overall score would represent your multiple of earning. Your operational performance is directly linked to the multiple of earnings. And that we would then multiply with the net profit, where we're looking at an average of your net profit over the last 3 years. 2 vital indicators. Are you getting a return on the equity or the investment in your business? And how is that business growing as an asset? Are you building an asset and seeing a high return on investment? Market profile, market development and penetration should form the core focus for growth activities. Growth should be actively targeted over and above the function maintaining the current performance. Growth activities should be linked to market opportunities. As you pick up and scan the market, we have here the implement 5 existing customer approaches. So much easier to target within your existing customer base and your existing markets. And as we look at each one of them, we can just step through increased market share, dominate growth markets, drive out competitors, increase existing usage, and what is your overall market strategy. We also look at how do we develop new geographical areas, new product dimensions, new distribution channels, and new market segments. So know your target, know your market, and target growth and link product strategy. That is crucial for market profile. Lead generation. Simplistically, one of the easiest thing to put together, but also the hardest thing to keep maintained across our business. It's important to plan your marketing strategy around lead generation and brand development. The key is to ensure that it delivers measurable results. That means we need actionable leads. Your marketing strategy must be integrated into your budget, making available adequate funds. Simple, top-down. Marketing plan and budget, well-developed products and services, a professional brand, professional marketing material. Know what your core purpose is and be able to define it within 60 seconds. A great website that produces leads and a simple database, either from this as a process or from external. So number 4 is vital for us to do, and lead generation. So we need to link your marketing strategy and budget to the overall financial plan strategy. 5, the sales code. The following activities can be completed to improve your capability. I mean, this is a simple sales funnel that we need to develop, that we make sure how do leads drive into opportunities and how do they progress through our business. We need a sales funnel, develop a sales process, link to business plan, and 3x cover. What is 3x cover? We need to have 3 times the cover that we need for sale for our top revenue plan in the pipeline. That means our pipeline and prospective value must be 3 times that of what our expected revenue plan is. Vital. Track sales pipeline values, map your product value proposition, make sure that you understand the FAB, features, advantages, and benefits, and then that there's regular tracking. Know your targets, drive 3x value while relentlessly focusing on activities and conversion. So again, looking at the sales plan to deliver score. Where is your score? And what are we going to do? The following to implement in order to get that score to the next level. Innovation, we all know that we need to be innovative, but what does it mean to ensure continued relevance and increase sales? An innovation process needs to be developed and implemented to ensure growth and sales increase. Both markets and competitor trends should be monitored. So we're looking not as innovation and simply, we're looking at technology and from a push, where are we, what is the market, what is happening within it, market pull innovations, business model, what needs to change within our business model, design thinking, design thinking maps specifically your customers' jobs and how that relates to how you innovate and build products within the customer. Platforms, vital, which platforms are needed to drive innovation within the company. Customer value. We know that customer value generation is important. Convert sales and revenue targets into the number of customers that you need. Ensure that your customer retention is high. Track profitable lifetime value on customer level. Lastly, measure customer service using Net Promoter Score system. So we know critical link of NPS and LTV to revenue and sales performance. So finding and growing customers is about getting those deep insights into where our customers are and how do we need to grow that customer base. Execution capabilities. For the business to grow, it must be able to consistently deliver high quality product or services. In order to do this, both resource capability linked to quality processes, efficiency needs to be tracked and managed. Conduct a capability audit across the organization. Implement a quality measurement system. Analyze business automation are the 3 main focus areas. Ensure that you have the capabilities to execute your strategy while at the same time automating delivery. What is your capability score and what is it that you need to do to improve that score? Leadership principles. Ultimately, the most important aspect of executing your strategy is ensuring all resources in the business is aligned to achieving a goal. If the people in your business are not 100% aligned to the vision, they will not be able to deliver effectively. Everyone in the business must have a target and align to the overall plan. So here we're looking at compensation and benefits, training and development, employee engagement, job descriptions, and legal compliance. The key aspect that we use here is employee net promoter score and the Gallup. So I'll just remind you guys to complete that survey, and within the next video, we will then drill in on what the employee net promoter score does in order to help us increase engagement and how to lead people to be more engaged within the business. So a vital insight from that would be employee net promoter score. So again, what is your score in managing optimal teams? And last but not least, governance. So corporate governance is as vital for an SME as it is for a large corporation. Implementation of cost-effective, simple mechanisms and processes will establish structure, improve operations, contribute to business growth, and ensure effective compliance with the law. Governance is not just red tape. Governance equals predictable growth within the business. And simple for you to do and for customers to do is to create a simple internal policies, such as the code of conduct, demonstrate effective leadership, doing what is your ethical values, separate roles and responsibilities of the shareholders and directors, and also do our bit for local environment and community. So a very important status, especially for SMEs, is governance, and what are those governance structures and how do they enable growth without adding red tape. So that's the business builder, and that's cracking the business code. So you will ask, but which one of those, where's the secret? Each one of these elements are not necessarily new. It's stuff we know. Well, I think that's true for all business owners. Most business owners knows what they need to do. They just don't know when to focus on what. And unfortunately, the answer is not which one, but all. Cracking the business code means that these are activities that needs to be done in the business consistently, all of them. There's no aspect here that could be left. Yes, some of them are more important than others, drive hard red lines, and some of them are a little bit more dotted, but does not mean that they can be left out. We need to ensure capabilities to deliver product, service, innovation. We can't forget about proper market definition and profiling or lead generation. All of these are vital for cracking the business code. And that's where getting the business builder diagnostic done on your business. So for the people who know your customers that have already got their scores, that represents their performance. That represents the areas and an easy to see KPI dashboard that says, well, I'm not doing too badly, but I need to be focusing on governance. And I need to overall make sure that myself and my team are relentlessly focused on each one of these elements. So a simple business health check questionnaire, 15 to 20 minutes, would be able to provide you with the inputs that you need and your customer. We've now split this. You'll be able to get a 10-page diagnostic that provides you just a quick view on where you are as a business or your customers are. And we've also split out the detailed diagnostic and analysis. And that's it. That's the business builder and how to crack the business success code. I'll open up the floor for questions.